Look, let's just keep it 1000. Delineation ain't just a Twitter thread. It's survival. It's self-respect. It's mandatory. And it's honestly long overdue. Because like we all been saying, they're not like us. Period. We've been trying to be nice about it, but no, y'all love white approval a little too much.
Help us. Without your hand, we are nothing. Without the white people, without the white men, there is no life. Africa to be Africa, it must be Europe. Go see how South Africa looks like today. The white people built it, South Africa. Beautiful South Africa. Just because of you white people. You are a great kingdom. You are blessed by God to be who you are today. God blessed you. You are a fighting hand. Thank you, I love you. I want to be somewhere. You go connect me with the black world in America.
Y'all love hugging colonizers and love switching sides the minute things get real.
I can post Hulk Hogan if I want to. Just because somebody makes a mistake in their life doesn't mean that they haven't done good things.
A few days ago, I reposted an old video of me in the gym wearing a Hulk Hogan Halloween costume on the day that he passed. Last night in my live stream, a lot of people expressed how upset and frustrated they were with me that I had posted that. Instead of listening and understanding like I should have, I became defensive and said,
if you're going to attack me, you better go after the colored athletes and the people that are black and minority that went and posted him as well.
I was posting to celebrate the wrestling icon, the person that so many of us looked up to as kids that we grew up with. Also during last night's live stream, I used the word colored instead of saying person of color, which is a very outdated, very offensive term.
You better go after the colored athletes.
Sorry, not sorry. We've been over here yelling black first, talking about melanin magic. Meanwhile, they were rubbing off their melanin with creams that smell like bathroom towel cleaner. Too many in that camp are addicted to forgiveness and diplomacy. They got a PhD in let's move on, even when nobody apologized. It's very likely that while we've been over here fighting for justice, they were over there naming their
true black Africans and African Americans do not claim black Americans. We are not the same. African tends to focus on progress, family values, and community upliftment, rather than dwelling on historical grievances. They prioritize education and hard work. They don't live life blaming the white man.
All right, ma'am, listen. You say you believe in hard work. You say that's what you believe in. Why aren't you working hard in your homeland? Why don't you focus on the education in your homeland? Ma'am, if you work so hard, you wouldn't have to immigrate to America, right? Because you can work yourself out of all your issues and problems. And you can't get enough degrees to fix your issues in your homeland because it's not an education problem. It's not a hard work problem in your homeland. It's y'all tribalism and your governments that's messing y'all up. And in this country, it's white supremacy. But see, you're right, ma'am. We're not the same. I'm with you. You're not like us at all. We don't love them folks like that because we put them folks in their proper place for what they have done to our ancestors and even what they're doing still in 2025. We're not going to forget our brothers and sisters that have lost their lives at the hands of the white supremacists. No. See, you and people that think like you, because everybody on the continent think like you, but you love them folks. When they come over there, you cutting the jig, you're dancing and everything else when they show up with you. They show up, you're running in their face because you're thinking you're going to get $1 from them. Like, let me tell you something, ma'am. I've been to the African continent. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. See, this FBA been there. So I know exactly what goes on over there. With some, not all, but with some.
Now, before anyone start typing angrily in the accent, here's the real reason delineation matters so much right now. We've been strategically replaced, not culturally, institutionally. Yeah, replaced in schools, in politics, in business, all of it. So let's go down memory lane, shall we? In 2009, Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani literally marked African American on his college application because he was born in Uganda, lied to get into school using our struggle.
So during a recent interview, Lord Zohran, New York City's favorite comment section communist, was called out for essentially putting himself down as a African American Asian on the census. Now, you may think to yourself, what's the issue with classifying yourself as an African American when you literally were born in Africa and you now live in America? Well, see, here's the thing. That classification is saved for Black Americans. See how that works? So as an Indian American, there would be another classification for you, not Native American or Indigenous American, but as an Indian man. That's your mama, that's your daddy. There's a section for you right there. Now, I would presume that the reason why you would use such classifications is because you would likely find yourself getting, I don't know, a few more opportunities than the average person for putting down the classification of both African American as well as Asian. But then again, this is just a little assumption on my side. What do we know?
And that connects right back to the 2004 New York Times article we talked about last week, so go check that out. The one that shows how top colleges have been playing this little game where they bring in more black immigrants and push us out. It's not random. That's been a whole setup for years. They want the look of black folks, but not the history that comes with us. They want the blackness without the burden. They want the culture and not the fight. Now, fast forward to Cornell in 2018. A whole black student group had to beg for more actual black Americans on campus. Folks whose ancestors were enslaved right here. And what happened? They got dragged for filth and called xenophobic. Ain't that something? So let me tell you more of the timeline check on this whole finesse. 2004, New York Times spilled the tea on elite schools like Harvard deliberately showing preference for biracial and immigrant blacks versus black Americans. From the New York Times article, by the way, the Supreme Court shifted the rationale away from issues of social justice to the educational value of diversity. One black admission official at a highly selective college said the reluctance of college officials to discuss these issues has helped obscure the scarcity of black students whose family have been in this country for generations. So now do you get why the timeline matters? 2009, Zoran becomes one of the many to take advantage of this finesse they're running on the expense of the black American struggle. Fast forward to 2018, Cornell students were saying, hey, where's the real black folks at? 2020s, Harvard's out here claiming they want to right their wrongs while still pushing us to the back of the line. How they say they want to fix racism out one side of their necks, but out the other side of their necks, they're saying it doesn't really matter if the folks who literally built your school can't get in. Make it make sense. Like, is this a pattern or am I tripping? Like, let me know in the comments. But anyways, though, let's talk about how this affects our politics too. Because some of these folks in office, they look like us, but don't ride for us. Exhibit A, Yvette Clarke, a first-generation Jamaican, is out here saying she needs more immigrants for redistricting. Not more help for black folks, not more resources, just more immigrants so she can hold her seat.
These are the people that's advocating for black Americans in this country. Check this out.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly.
I'm not shocked. Yvette Clarke is a Jamaican immigrant. And this is what this party always have done. Use black American as the face to push somebody else's agenda. Every time black Americans are a part of something, look at DEI. Black American was the face of that, but it didn't benefit black Americans. Look at BIPOC. Black Americans was the face of that, but black Americans was at the bottom of that agenda also. So this is nothing new. It's just that it's more boisterous and in your face. She's letting you know this is an immigrant first party. Why even associate black carcass to this? You know what I'm saying? You're not representing black Americans. You're not representing America, period. And then when you talk about, the replacement theory, they'll say, that's a conspiracy. It already took place in places like Los Angeles, Southern California. This party is all about the advancement of immigrants and keeping their own power. And check out her salary. This is her salary right here, 6 figures. So yeah, this is what we have as representation. The only reason these immigrants are in the position that they're in is because of the sacrifices of black Americans. But they're like, you did your thing. Now it's time to throw y'all away, right? The reason why anybody have rights in this country that's a minority is because of black Americans. But now black Americans is disposable. That's what it seems like. Black Americans are disposable. You did your thing to usher in these immigrants. Now we could dispose of the black Americans who laid all the groundwork, who made all the sacrifices for all these other minority groups, even immigrants, to have rights, human rights.
Then you got Wes Moore, the first governor of Maryland, who they swear is so inspirational. And he said no to even studying reparation for black Americans. Not talking about giving reparation, just studying reparation. And he vetoed it. That's how allergic they are to doing right by us.
So y'all gonna get enough of voting for these Democrats because they Democrats, or voting for them because they got a brown skin tone. Maryland Governor Wes Moore vetoes slavery reparations study, citing need for the work itself. Like the work ain't already been motherfucking done, G. Here's the thing about Wes Moore that I need people to know. He's a Jamaican American. He's not a foundational black American. The only governor, black governor, vetoes the slavery reparations. Is he black? Yeah, he looked like it. Is he a Jamaican American? Yes, he is. Will he benefit anywhere from reparations? No, he won't. Y'all see this shit, man. I believe in reparations because a grievance, it has to be redressed. You get what I'm saying? Like, something has to be done about it. We know the history, we know we got all the research, we got all the numbers, we got all the data, we got everything. It's just that only certain people will be allowed it. And no matter the skin color, certain white people are not against reparations, and some black people are. We gotta really look into people's backgrounds before we start putting them in positions of power, and it ain't got nothing to do about their skin color. You know, judge them off the content of they policies. You feel me? Bullshit.
Meanwhile, Native Americans got theirs in cash. Japanese folks got theirs in cash. Jews got theirs in cash. Yeah, when it's us, we got to write an essay, do a TikTok dance, get a cosign from Jesus, cry on camera, and fill out surveys before they even consider looking at a task force. But then again, that's because immigrants like Governor Wes Moore understands that when it comes to our pain, for some reason, it just can't be taken at face value. Our pain must be proven. It must be properly packaged. It must be sanitized beyond all recognition in order to make it palatable enough for it to even be acknowledged. I also want to take a closer look at what happens when symbolism meets sidestepping. What do all these three have in common? All historic firsts in black representation, Obama, first black president, Kamala, first black vice president, Moore, first black governor of Maryland, all raised in environments heavily influenced by immigrants or diasporic backgrounds, all publicly endorsed some form of reparation that never quite amount to actual tangible reparation. Now is the time to focus on the work itself, whatever that means. Moore gave that non-answer when asked directly about the veto, followed by vague reference inequality, economic development rhetoric, a refusal to explicitly support cash payments. He's the charisma hire, great optics, limited disruption. And then we have Kamala, treating it like it was a theoretical discussion. There has to be some form of reparation. We can discuss what that is. Sure. Kamala's game, theoretical endorsement with zero operational urgency.
Specific actions do you plan to take to administer reparations for this unpaid labor?
Right. So I'm actually supporting a bill. There's a congresswoman by the name of Sheila Jackson Lee that has written this bill out of the House, which I am supporting, to study exactly what should be the response to your question.
Should black people get reparations?
I think there has to be some reparations, and we can discuss what that is.
Do you support reparations for black people?
Really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
She supported H.R. 40, but only to study reparation, floated ideas like mental health initiatives and tax credits, absolutely avoided cash reparation or lineage-based framework, lead on her multi-ethnic identity to diffuse direct accountability, her reparation stance, let's study it as long as we don't solve it. And then we have Mr. I don't support reparation because it wouldn't pass. That was Obama's 2008 response. Translation, let's not upset them good white people over there. Barack Obama, first black president raised by white grandparents in Hawaii, whose dad dipped back to Kenya, was deeply moved by black American suffering. He read about it, cited in speeches, even sang Amazing Grace once. But when it came to cutting checks, he suddenly remembered he was president of all Americans.
Senator Obama, your position on reparations?
I think the reparations we need right here in South Carolina is investment, for example, in our schools.
Why not target the African American community? Why not say then, this is for you, this is for African Americans?
That's not how America works.
President Barack Obama has begun new initiatives aimed at helping young American Indians or Native Americans overcome the many challenges they face.
Why not target the African American community? Why not say then, this is for you, this is for African Americans?
That's not how America works. That's not how America works.
Instead, we got book clubs, inspirational speeches, My Brother Keeper's Initiative, and the iconic race speech in Philadelphia. A masterclass in centrist diplomacy. He gave us representation therapy, not policy transformation. They all changed history, but did they change the math? I mean, the racial wealth gap is only getting wider literally every year. Symbolism is great on their resumes, but never pays the overdue invoice. Turns out being racially black is the same as being culturally connected. So next time someone tells you representation is enough, ask if their ancestors built the country. This is why delineation is needed. This is why delineation is crucial. This is why gatekeeping ain't petty. It's protection. If we don't draw the line, we're going to keep getting erased by people who don't live what we live, don't love what we love, and don't fight how we fight. All right, so let's slide to Cincinnati. Whole jazz event downtown, real chill vibes, until a group of white Russian tourists showed up and apparently thought it was a Klan rally. According to folks that were there, they were provoking, antagonizing black folks, hurling their favorite insult with the hard R, just being super disrespectful for at least 30 minutes straight. There's even accounts of them vandalizing someone's car. But when a brawl finally broke out, the media said, "Oh no, violent mobs attack innocent tourists." Let's play the clip. One of the black men who got arrested said he was spit on and called racial slurs before anything even happened. But that didn't make the headlines. Let's keep it real. If that was us in Moscow at a Russian concert, spitting on people and yelling slurs, we'll be in jail. Or worse. But when we defend ourselves, it's a problem. This is the same pattern we always see anyways. They started, we finish it, we the problem. But remember Daniel Penny? He choked Jordan Neely to death for being loud on a train. Remember him? He got treated like a hero. Photo ops with the president, hundreds of thousands in donation, the whole nine. If Daniel Penny, who was never even so much as touched by Jordan Neely, was right to neutralize a threat, then ain't these brothers even more right to defend themselves after being verbally and physically provoked? But these brothers in Cincinnati defended themselves and got labeled sluggers on top of being called everything but a child of God. Even a Cincinnati councilwoman, Victoria Parks, even had to come out and say they begged for the beatdown. I am grateful for the whole story. This is not about violence. This is about the world being mad when black folks stop turning the other cheek.
The police are calling the Caucasian guy that got beaten down a victim. Do you see it that way? Should he be arrested as well?
Yes, he should be arrested for assault.
And if y'all want to say Daniel Penny was protecting the public, then guess what? These Cincinnati boys were doing the same exact thing. Only difference is the victims were black, nobody got choked, nobody died. In fact, those Russian tourists got off easy. Okay, now let's talk about the latest feel-good story they're trying to shove down our throats. A white boy named Tyler got on stage on a cruise ship karaoke night and sang Nobody by Keith Sweat. Everybody was hyped, cool, cute moment. But next thing you know, Keith Sweat himself bring him on stage like that man cured cancer. But be honest, was that good or was he just white? This ain't really about Tyler. This is about the pattern. White folks do the bare minimum in our spaces and get celebrated like living legends. Meanwhile, black kids got whole mixtapes that don't even get no love. The kids call it ore farming. It's kind of an aggregation of black culture. Like Danielle Bagoli, aka Catch Me Outside. She did her best Project Baby impression on Dr. Phil, and black folks paid her enough attention to make her a rapper. She made millions off our culture and literally used us like a charger to her iPhone. Same with the Indonesian boat racing kid. Again, it's not about the kid. It's about giving outsiders the easiest access to black society only to allow them to use us as a profit center. Meanwhile, when black artists perform and produce their own music, they gotta be 10 times better just to be barely accepted. So we gotta ask, where's the reverse? Show us the black kids getting the keys to the city for singing Mayo melodies by, I don't know, Ed Sheeran in a cowboy hat on a carnival. We'll wait. Like someone said, I know Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus, but you don't see her bringing me upstage. This ain't new. It's just another week in the machine, another week of FBA ore being borrowed, sold, and recycled without a credit check. All right, y'all, so that's this week's FBA Gatekeeping Weekly. Stay tuned next week for more, and let's keep it simple. If we don't draw the line, they'll blur the hell out of it. If we don't stand up, they'll sit on us. And if we don't keep receipts, they'll rewrite the whole damn story. Please protect the culture like it's grandma's sweet potato pie. So comment below, do you think delineation is getting more serious? Was the Cincinnati situation self-defense or just bad optics? And should little Tyler have gotten that Keith Sweat moment? So this has been the Culture Debrief. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I talk about Black news all the time, so just stick around and support.